So this is the first time I've ever done any podcast or anything like that. So this is the In the Locker podcast with Dwight, me, and myself. And joining us is going to be Desufire for the first episode. And I'm
We're off to
actually
an excellent, we're off to an excellent start so far.
I'm super excited for it. I'm really this is something I've been wanting to do for a while. I've been like telling you like, oh hey, I'm working on the overlay. I'm trying to get the thing going for like a long time, and just family stuff and all that stuff's just kind of gotten in the way. But after everything's all settled and said and done, we're kind of back and we've actually got this thing going. So I'm excited to actually get going and start doing this thing. And I've got a few questions here prepared for you. But other than that, just kind of a freelance type of thing. Um,
Okay.
yeah, the first thing I was gonna say was like, what? I know that you stream on Twitch as like a variety streamer. As I've
Yeah.
seen you kind of play it pretty much a lot of things. I mean, last time I think I tuned in, you were doing like a escape room thing. The last time I looked in, and then I saw you playing some games offline and whatnot. So I was gonna ask you, what do you like and dislike about being a variety streamer?
Uh, Geez, what I like about being a variety streamer is I'm not locked in to one game.
Hmm.
Um, People tune in and they know when they tune in they're gonna see Batman. They're gonna see Dead by Daylight. Not so much anymore though.
Yeah,
Evil Dead, Hunt, Hunt Showdown. They're not gonna tune in and go, oh, I'm gonna watch Desufire and he's gonna be playing
the
this
same
game.
thing. Yeah,
Do I really want to watch this? I don't know. I like him, but I don't really like the game. That kind of thing.
yeah,
Um, the What I don't like about being a variety streamer is I'm not locked into one game.
yeah,
So
yeah. I feel
it's
that.
kind of a double-edged sword. Like if you want to, sorry, I do have some day job stuff going on as well, so
All good.
I have to keep an eye on that as well. But um, it's a double-edged sword because if I ever do want to go for that elusive partnership for Twitch, that
Yeah,
kind of thing. Being a variety streamer is very hard to do that because you're trying to pull, like when you're locked into one game, you pull an audience from that game.
right.
Um, when you're a variety streamer and you're all over the place, you may get, a good following, say 5 or 10 people come in because I'm playing Batman.
Right.
And then the next day I'm streaming, I'm not playing Batman. So why
Yeah.
would they watch me? That kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
You know, um, but I don't know. The freedom's nice for me. So that's what and I'm not looking to be a partner
Yeah. And I've seen it
because
possibly
it's
work
fun.
out. Yeah, I've seen it possibly work out for some people as well. Like, I don't know if you know who Germa is. He's a very big variety streamer. Um, and I don't really know where he came from. But I just look at it kind of as a piece of inspiration because it's like you can kind of make it doing whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
As long as you do the right things. And I think I don't know exactly what he did, but he was like around a lot of people that were already like up there. Like he was with like Ludwig and all of them, um, and just that
Well,
type
I
of
mean,
stuff.
being in the right circle would always help too.
Oh yeah,
I'm not saying he only made it because he was in the right circle. I don't know
right.
who. I'm unfamiliar with Jermaine.
Oh yeah,
Um,
Germa. Yeah, he's
but
he's cool, but
Jerma, yeah, but yeah. I mean, as long as if you really want to, you put in the work, you're gonna make it.
right, absolutely. And you said you were flicking over at like work stuff and whatnot. That was another kind of question that I was planned for a little later, but doesn't really matter order wise. So I was gonna kind of ask you like what do you do outside Twitch for a living and whatnot? Because you kind of described it to me one time, and I was gonna ask you more like in depth as to like what exactly it is.
Uh, so I don't normally broadcast it on Twitch or anything because how I am during my day job isn't how I am at night. So I don't want someone going, oh, well, you work for this company and you act like this, and that's a direct reflection to that company, that kind of thing.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Um, but I work for ADT Security.
Mhm. Okay.
I am. They call us solution advisors now. Basically, I'm a salesman.
Okay.
Um, and I know the term salesman has a lot of negative aspect
Connotations.
around it and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah. Um, I don't. I like to think I'm a pretty good one. I do
Mhm.
care for my customers. That's not something I just say. I actually have every customer that I've ever helped on my phone.
Mhm.
If they ever need me, I've got customers who I helped 5 years ago when I first started, almost 6 now, and they still call me, and I still help them out. Um, but I go out to any kind of business that's under 10,000 square feet or home residential,
Mm,
and I advise, and they tell me, this is what I'm looking for, and I build a package using, an iPad that the company issued me and everything,
mm.
um, to kind of fit inside their budget. So, to give you an example, I had one gentleman who did not go with ADT,
Okay.
but uh, there was recently, well, not recently, there was a commercial that came out, and when it came, it was new. I'm sure you may have seen it if you guys watch, if anybody watches TV. Um, it is a family, and you see the husband, the wife, the kids. They're all sitting on the couch, and it's nighttime and everything. And they get off the couch, and the dad's carrying the kid, and he says, "Alexa, tell ADT to arm the system." And Alexa says, "Okay." And then all of a sudden the outdoor lights come on, the door locks, and everything just, the system completely arms.
Yeah.
I went out to a gentleman's house, and he goes, "That, I want that." And I went, "Okay, not a problem." And, so I got to talking to him. I'm like, "What kind of outdoor lights do you have?" "Well, I have these." "That's not going to work with this.
Okay.
We need to make sure, that these are compatible with that," and so forth and so on. And it came out to be about a $5,000 cost,
Ooh.
just to get everything in that he wanted, and he didn't like that
Well,
at all.
well,
So,
yeah. So basically,
you
he just
know,
like what he had already like had in his house and set up or whatever just wasn't gonna work. Is that your like?
yeah. Technology is great, but a lot of people have this assumption where we can just go out and, because you have something, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work with something else. It's the same
Right.
thing with webcams and stuff like that, or if you're going to upgrade your PC, you can't just go out and buy a new AMD processor if
I
you have an
slap it right
Intel
in.
motherboard. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's just not going to work. You need to buy a new motherboard, on top of it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same process, I go out to a place and they go, "Well, I have a keypad here," and I'm like, "It's a very nice looking keypad. It's not going to work with us."
Oh, yeah. Jeez. I can see how that can come off a little frustrating, yeah, to a customer
but
standpoint, but
that's pretty much what I do for my day job. I go out, I say hi. I get told no. Actually, less often than you would think. A lot of people don't like to say no. I guess
yeah.
it's a humanity kind of thing. People don't like the word no.
Mm.
Um, they want to, they don't want that confrontation kind of thing. I don't mind that word. I like no. You don't want it? Tell me no. That's
Yeah,
that's fine.
exactly.
You're not gonna hurt my feelings,
Yeah. It's like way more cut chase and, just
Yeah,
don't beat around the bush. It takes more time out of your day to like try to,
ex-
you know,
exactly.
find the word.
Next week I'm calling you up and you don't want this, but you haven't told me you don't want this.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's what I do. I go out, I sell security systems. ADT goes in, puts it in, and that's how I get paid.
Awesome.
And then at night I play video games and stream. Would I
Cool.
rather play video games and stream? Hell yes.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the dream.
I've been a gamer. I've been a gamer for a long time. That's what I want. That's I'd rather play video games than do anything else. But
Yeah.
video games don't pay the bills, so not
Yeah.
working out this.
Exactly. Um, what was that? What else was I gonna say about that? Because you were talking about like the negative connotations of a salesman, and
Mm-hmm.
that also kind of integrated into my job recently. Because I not only do I sell the storage units when I work, I have my brother decided he's like, okay, I'm more involved in this company now because it is like a family owned company. Um,
Okay.
so basically, my dad has kind of stepped down, and my brother has kind of been more so in charge. And so he's kind of been making these decisions where I think someone got broken into in one of our facilities, like one of these like other it's kind of like the shadier location facility, and they didn't have insurance, and so they were like, oh, well, are you going to be able to like pay me back for some of the stuff that happened because it would happen at your storage? So then we were like, okay, well, now we got to enforce insurance. So we worked through someone called Bader Insurance to do these small plans. So it's like you'll tack like $9 onto like a storage price because it's this $9 for insurance. it's going to be
Okay.
like $2,000 of coverage for $9 or whatever it is. So every time I talk to somebody on the phone, I feel like I almost feel scummy because I'm telling them like, okay, the price for this unit is, $100, right? But
Yep.
then I said all said and done, it's going to be like 34 on top of that, and there's going to be a 9 that's charged monthly, and it's going to be 109 total every month. I'm just telling you that right now. And then they go, "Where's that
It's
coming
the
from?"
added
And then I
fees.
break it
Yeah.
down, yeah, and then they're like, "Okay, well, what's all that? Do I have to pay that? What if I have my own lock?" And I'm like, "You still have to pay it, even
Well,
if you don't take the lock." It's I hate like that I have to say that or do that, but it's like it just makes you feel like bad almost.
so is that something that you're locked into having to do though? You just can't tell the customer exactly what it's going to be with all the added charges up front. You have to tell them it's going to be this plus this plus this plus this.
I can tell them what it is up front. But the reason why we do the other way is because everyone in the industry does it the first way I described, where you add it on. So
Okay.
if they call and they get a quote from somebody and it's $80 for the same unit, they're gonna jump on it. And then right when they get in there, like physically, the storages even do it worse, where they tell them it's $80 up until they drove their car all the way and got there, walk in, and then they say, "Oh, well, there's $40 on top of that or whatever," and they tell them right when they walk in, as opposed to the way I do it, where I tell them over the phone, "It's this plus this, and you do have to pay that, unfortunately, and this is why." Um,
I didn't realize the storage place was so fucking cutthroat.
oh yeah, no, it gets like, I mean, what is it? There's one guy that like. So they have like all these meetings and stuff. It's really interesting actually. They have all these meetings and things where they kind of discuss like what they're going to be doing going forward and how to do this, and this is new technology being introduced. Eventually they're actually not going to have people in the office anymore, which is unfortunate, but they're going to have like it's entirely automated where it's like a code and it opens your gate and whatnot, and the code to open your locker, and so you don't even have to have a person manning the office. Um, but uh they have these big meetings and stuff where they kind of go over like what happens in the storage industry, and they've been barking at this one guy who owns Daryl's, which is a pretty big chain, and he just like industry standard has gone up in terms of pricing, and he just like, no, I don't care, I don't even care if we're like taking a loss at it or whatever, I'm just gonna sell it for lower. And everyone's just like, dude, we're losing a lot of our stuff because of you, dude. Like, come on, because he does the same stuff. He just marks it down like that. Um,
Right.
and it's he's getting older and whatnot, so it's kind of getting harder and harder to deal with him. But um, that being said, off the topic of work, because
Okay.
yep, I'm assuming you're still
Work
dealing with stuff in the background for sure.
work is always something that's always there. We can talk
Yeah,
about work forever.
absolutely. Yeah, I was actually even going to go into a tangent about a story that happened with a customer because you went into one about yours, and yeah, there was a guy that
Oh,
was extremely.
I wouldn't say it was a tangent. I was just giving an
Oh no, no,
example.
no! I was going to go on a tangent. I was saying I was going to go on a tangent.
All right.
Yeah, but
That's up to you. This is your podcast. You tangent all you want if you want.
oh yeah. Well, I mean, the only thing I was going to say was there's a specific customer, and I'm not going to say his name or anything, but he rented a larger storage unit, and he's probably the most difficult customer I've dealt with. So he asked if a storage unit functioned the way that literally nothing else functions. So he asked, because we do month to month, so you don't sign in or lock in for a contract. You just pay for a month, and you get that whole month, and you're there for the 30 days. Um, if you decide that 15 days in you want to move out, you obviously paid for the month, so that's it, right? You don't get your money back or anything like that. It's not prorated or anything. Um, so and then it starts when you do. So if you start on the 13th, it goes from the 13th to the 13th every time.
Yeah, makes
Um,
sense.
so this guy comes in and he says, "All right, I'm gonna pay my bill. I only need it for about 10 days though. Is there a way that you guys prorate on move out?" And I'm like, "No." And actually, they should have gone over that with you on the contract that you signed in the very beginning. But just to reiterate, no, we don't prorate on move out. So you pay for the month, you get the whole month. And he goes, "Okay, so you're telling me that if I move out and I pay for the entire month, that that's my space for that entire month, even if like I move out at the on the 10 days." And I'm like, "Okay, well when you move out, we're able to sell it to somebody else." And he's like, "Yeah, no, I know that's the problem that I have. So you know what? Here's what I'm gonna do. Well, when's my due date?" And I'm like, "The 20th." And then he goes, "So I'm gonna leave a box in there until the 19th, and I'm gonna leave it in there until the 19th, and I'm gonna go in there and take it out just so that I can utilize that space until the 20th, and then I'm gonna tell you I moved out and I'll be good. And I'm like, that's what you want to do. I mean, you're paying for the space. Just know that if you, because you're being difficult with me, if you go over and you are there on the 20th, and your bill is due, I'm gonna make you pay that. And if you don't, it's gonna go to collections and it's gonna go the whole route, and they're harder on you than
Yep.
we are. So, and then he goes, yeah, no, that's totally fine. I'm gonna move it out on the 19th. 19th comes around, doesn't move it out. 20th,
Oh shit.
20th comes around. He's like, all right, I'm moving out of my storage. I'm like, that'll be $145, sir. And then he goes,
Yep.
he goes, what do you mean? Fuck you, dude. And then he like gets super hostile with me. And I'm like, I'm just letting you know. I told you that you were going to doing this and you were being difficult and this is where we are. And, I can be that guy and I could not be that guy. And I'm choosing because you're being hostile with me. I'm going to be hostile with you.
Yep.
It's going to go through collections. It's going to do that whole route. And then he goes, all right, I'm grabbing my stuff. I'm not paying you that money. And he goes over, he takes the stuff out, and then he flips me off on the way out, driving his truck with all of his stuff in it. And I call my brother and I'm like, we should do the nice thing here, right? And he's like, yeah, just wipe the account. It's fine. And I'm like, okay. But
It's either that or just deal with the hassle, and sometimes it's just not worth it.
yeah, it was just more of like the attitude behind it that it was really just like, um, but yeah, the other thing I was gonna ask was because I did see that you were going about changing a couple of things in your channel and whatnot, and I've seen like some subtle changes here and there, and I was going to ask you about those. So I noticed that your logo changed.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. I really like the new one, but the other thing I was going to say was that, and then the raid video. I noticed that one you played that one. I think when I raided you the other time, um, you have like I don't know. I know. I'm assuming you don't do it every time. I think you specified that you'd probably do it on certain occasions.
So the problem with the raid video is the damn thing was about 3 minutes long.
Okay.
I felt that it was just a little too excessive.
Mhm.
I'm currently working on a different one that's I'm trying to boil it down to like maybe a minute.
Okay.
I feel that, oftentimes I'll get a raid. And the problem is Twitch mainly is I don't know when the viewers actually see the channel because of ads and crap like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I know the streamer is normally already there because they've already pulled my stream up and they're like, okay, we're going to raid so and so. And the stream's up, the ad is already gone. So there they are. So I get to talk to them. And then the next thing I know, I get flooded in my chat stating, so and so's new, so and so's new. And I'm like, oh, well, shit, I just went over everything. Do I need to do it again?
Yeah, exactly.
So I kind of wanted to do a raid video, kind of giving people like a good minute ad of what I am. Well, here's an ad for Desufire.
Right.
Turned out that was 3 minutes. So I'm working on a new one.
Yeah. That's
But I also don't want it to just be like clips of the best. I more of I don't know, like me talking to people. The interaction I have with friends.
right.
Some gameplay footage here and there, but I definitely want the content because the content comes from people like you. It's not really me. It's the interaction between me and you.
Right, yeah.
Is what I enjoy. So
Exactly. And
that's what I'm working on.
yeah, that's one of the cool things too is like, when I happen to branch off and go to something other than Dead by Daylight for like the 50th stream in a row. I like playing games with as many friends as I can, and if there's games that you and I both like end up playing like Hunt or we were playing what's that? It was Hood, right? Outlaws.
Hood Outlaws, yeah.
Yeah, that one was a really fun time. Just like throwing it out and being like, hey, let's get like Matt Desu in here. Let's mess around. It's fun. I always love playing games like that.
Out of Space.
Oh God,
that
was like
I haven't touched that one since the last time me and you played it too. I keep looking at it, going, "Nah, I'm good."
Yeah. Oh, that game gets so frustrating.
Yeah, it does.
It's like every problem that you could have is like I think games like that and like Overcooked and things of the sort are really good just for like the making minor inconvenience seem like they're like the world.
It's a huge deal because it's almost like the game's almost an analogy for life, isn't it? Because you're like, okay, I got everything under control, and then this little thing happens, which blows up into everything else, and you're like, fuck!
Yeah, that is everything. That has ruined everything. I'm quitting. It's over. Drop it.
It's like, hey, all right, I was able to save $1,000 in my savings account. We can do this, and then your check engine light comes on. You're like, fuck,
Yep. Yep, there that goes. Exactly. Oh man. Yeah, because the reason why I went into that is because I was kind of asking you um, like, do you get your ideas like just from yourself, or do you just kind of like look for things that you like from other Twitch channels and kind of like try to mimic it, or because I
no.
that raid video is really really cool and I liked it the time that I saw it, because it was just a really cool like highlight type of thing. It's almost like a channel trailer. That's what I would see it as, like,
Yeah.
because it was just really cool. And then on top of that, it showed me a lot of games that I didn't even know you played. Like you played like Realm Royale like a long time ago. I think you started talking about.
I actually started streaming with Realm Royale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my first few months of streaming was specifically just nothing but Realm Royale.
And I heard you were pretty good at it too, right?
I absolutely loved that. I destroyed at that game. I was good at it. Wasn't the best, but
Okay.
I was good at it. I was good.
What separates Realm from like other battle royales? Because I know it's a high res one, right?
Yeah. For one, I liked what they were doing with the class systems.
Hmm.
It was kind of one of the first. It was one of the first battle royales, not only to introduce a class system, but
Hmm.
to also introduce like a different mechanic for when you died. So, like
Hmm.
with Realm, when your HP dropped to zero, you didn't just get down on the ground and start crawling around waiting for someone to pick you up.
Hmm.
You turned into a freaking chicken, and you
Oh
could
God.
bounce around, and your chicken had its own life bar. And if someone killed you as a chicken, well, then now you're dead.
Okay. Yeah.
But you had that second life. You could move fast. You could dodge. You had that. It was a whole new aspect of, oh crap, now I'm a chicken. What am I doing? Okay, now I'm going this way. I'm going that way. I'm
Okay.
trying to
Yeah.
live. And then the timer would run out after about 30 seconds, and then you pop back up with everything that you had to turn around and start trying to, kill this guy that that turned you into a chicken.
Yeah.
And then now he's a chicken. Now you're trying to kill him.
Now you're trying to kill him. Yeah. That's actually really interesting. I never even
it
like.
was it was a fantastic game. Did it have its problems? Of course it did. It was a high res game. High res games
Right.
are just they're rampant with problems and everything. But they did a really good job balancing what they could, um, solving the problems that they could solve with the code and everything that was in it.
Hmm.
Um, it just and then they decided to drop all support for it and
Yeah.
focus on another game. But there is hope because they have uh, they have started a small team to bring it back.
Okay.
So
That's cool.
hopefully, Realm Royale will make a new resurface here soon. And I personally, well, not like personally, but it's a streamer that I know who I've been following for.
Hmm.
I don't know. I forget how long I've been following this man for.
Are they like heavily involved or?
He is heavily involved. Actually his Twitch name is Thor. I'm going to give him a little bit of a plug here.
Okay.
His Twitch name is Thor. Yes, he looks like Thor.
Oh, that's
Um,
sick.
it's absolutely fucking amazing. But very very nice guy. Absolutely interactive with chat. I would
Hmm.
say like probably probably the main, what's the word I'm looking for?
Like draw or?
Muse draw, kind of like
Okay.
when I started streaming, I wanted the community he had. Basically,
Okay.
it was a very nice community. There was not a lot of toxicity. Everybody had their own opinions, and everybody knew it. But nobody fought about it. There
Hmm.
was no arguing, and if there was, it was taken care of real quick.
Hmm.
Um, and he's very, like I said, he's very interactive with his chat.
Yeah. Let's
He
love to
remembers
see that.
he remembers people. Yeah, he remembers people. Someone comes in and you don't even know them, and the next thing you know, he's asking how the kids, how's the wife. I remember you were sick the other month. How was that? Did that clear up? And it's like
Hmm.
absolutely fucking amazing. Blew my
That's
mind.
awesome. Yeah.
So, but he's now employed with Hi-Res,
That's
and he's
awesome.
working on Realm Royale. So it's fantastic. I
That's
mean,
so
he was a
sick.
big part of Realm Royale. He actually voiced one of the chickens.
Oh,
So
really?
it was really
That's
cool. So
awesome.
hopefully that if that resurfaces, I will definitely be playing Realm Royale a lot more on my streams.
That'll be cool.
Um,
Yeah.
but for the
Um.
moment, it's Hunt Showdown and Evil Dead.
Oh yeah. How do you like an Evil Dead?
I like it. I like the fact that it is an asymmetrical game, and the only similarity to Dead by Daylight is the fact that it's an asymmetrical game.
Yeah.
That's it. You
Yeah. I
know,
saw a lot of people
um,
having fun with it. It's got like some cool, interesting mechanics and systems and stuff.
it is very. It's probably one of the more balanced ones to come out of the gate.
Okay.
Uh, Starting out, survivors have a really high probability of winning.
Okay.
But the more you play your demon class or killer, for those who play Dead by Daylight, which is most of us now,
Mhm.
um, for those who play killer, they have their own tree line, their own skill tree for between games, and increases your ability and stuff like that. The more you play, the more skill points you get, and the more you can put into your skill tree. And the next thing you know, you're starting to see a lot more wins. You're starting to see a lot more
Yeah.
this and that happening, and then you start gaining this knowledge, going, well, this worked the last time. Let's try it again.
Hmm. It's would
And
you
then
like make it like a similar to like a perk loadout, or is it just kind of like your killer is kind of growing?
oh no, they're skill trees.
Yeah.
They are actual skill trees. Like one of the things is increases the amount of fear that your skeletons can do, and
Mhm.
then the more point, like I think it's three. So there are 3 points you can put into it, and each point increases it further.
Okay.
And then there's one that's slows down the amount of time that objectives take to finish by percent.
Oh,
So
okay. I
that kind
see.
of thing. Um,
So it's like you're choosing to
there's
run like slowdown as opposed to like threat or whatever else it is. Like,
Yeah, and you only get 45 points, and
hmm.
there's probably hundreds of points that you can put it. So you have to think. You can't just put points into every skill and get every skill. You
Right.
have to
Okay.
think, what kind of killer am I going to play here? Am I going to play one that's fear based? Am I going to play one that's portal based? Am I going to play one that's possession based? That kind of
Hmm.
thing, and build as put points into it. And then if you decide, well, I don't like this, I want to change it up, you can reset it for free
Okay. Oh, so like you
as
can
many
back
times as
down
you
on the
want.
skill tree and then come back up a certain route or whatever else you want to
Yeah,
do.
you can completely wipe out all the points, get them all back, and start all over again if you want. Put them all in,
That's
you
sick.
know.
That's really cool. It's
Uh,
an
and
interesting
then
take on that.
and then each survivor is actually unique. That's
Mhm.
the other thing. That's the difference between. That's a big difference between Evil Dead and Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight, you have all these survivors and they're unique in their cosmetics, but that's all. That's the end of the
That's what it
uniqueness.
comes down to. Yeah.
Yeah, but when it comes to Evil Dead, you have one, two, three, four different kind of Ash characters,
Yeah.
because he's the main character.
Hmm.
Um, but you have four different kinds of roles as well. You have a leader role, a warrior, hunter, and then a support role.
Okay.
All of the support roles are healer role. They heal in some way or another.
Okay.
Leaders are more like the buffers. Your warriors are your tanks and slash damage, and then your hunters are just pure damage. You
Okay.
know, but each one of those roles has its own separate skill tree, just like the killers.
Okay.
So you can put points into, like, if you're a hunter role, you put points into the amount of damage you do on a headshot, the amount of distance, effective range that your range weapons do. You know,
Mhm.
but then if you decide, well, I'm going to play a warrior class, well, then the warriors have their own separate tree.
Yeah.
Damage taken reduction, damage dealt,
Oh, okay.
increase, that kind of thing.
And is it
And then
like
each.
can you play so you're saying each survivor is unique and whatnot? Is it
Mhm.
is it to a point where if you are playing a certain role, um or like you're playing a certain character, are they locked into the role or you can choose which route to go per role on a survivor?
So they are locked into
Thank you
that
for the
role.
sub
So
box,
if I
man.
want to play a character called Cheryl, she is a support class. She is a healer. I cannot play Cheryl as a warrior.
Okay.
So that she's locked into that.
Okay.
But each individual character has their own unique abilities,
Hmm.
and those abilities have different stages, all the way down to 25. There's four different stages. You gain the ability plus one passive for that ability as well.
Okay.
So, like, as an example, support Ash is able to reduce fear in a small area around him every, I think, 90 seconds or so.
Okay.
So if everybody's around him and he uses his ability, all of a sudden your fear is drastically reduced. So
Okay.
you can't get possessed anymore.
That's
But
sick.
one of his passives is every time he connects with a heavy melee attack, a small AoE heal is dispersed that heals for 30 damage flat.
Okay.
So every heavy attack he's doing, he's healing 30, 30, 30, 30.
Well,
And
that's
that's just
awesome.
his passive. That's just what he gets. You
That's
know?
so cool.
And then he gets something else at level 15, he gets something else at level 25. As Cheryl has something different. Cheryl just puts down an AoE heal.
Okay.
Every 90 seconds, 2 minutes, something like that. The cooldowns are actually the cooldowns aren't so much so that you're spamming the abilities, but they're also not so long that you're like, fuck, this is never up, I can never use it when I need it.
Hmm.
I don't know, like I said, the
It seems
creators of
balanced.
Evil Dead have done they've done a very good job at keeping things as balanced as possible. The win ratios are basically about 50-50. The more you play, the more you'll realize, like when you first start out, you're like, oh, this is kind of easy. And then all of a sudden you get a killer who's played for some time, has some levels in it, and then you just get destroyed. And you're like, oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. Sets the tone a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, all right, I'm humbled now.
Yeah. Yeah. Because from what you were describing, is like in the beginning, it seems very Survivor Soid, and then it switches to like if there's a good killer that knows what they're doing, then like
Yeah.
it can be very obvious that it's like you all have to work together in order to get out for sure.
But that's the key, working together too. Dead by Daylight is a team based game. This is not really team based anything though. It's Dead by Daylight. You go off,
Yeah.
you can do a generator by yourself. You
Mm.
can loop the killer by yourself. You can
Right.
do everything by yourself.
Mm.
You cannot do that on Evil Dead because if you are by yourself, you will die. And
Yeah.
then when you die, you're fucking the rest of your team over because
There's one less person. Yeah.
yeah, more than not, the rest of the team's gonna fall.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to stick together. You have to, hey, I'm going over. I'm gonna pick up this objective. Okay, we're all gonna go over there then. Okay, cool. Let's go.
Yeah. I see that. What was the other thing I was gonna say? Yeah, because it's Evil Dead. I've seen a lot of people play it. I've seen like obviously it's one of those games where it drops and Twitch's attention heavily gravitates towards it right on
Yeah.
release and whatnot. I'm curious as to if it'll like stay that way, because I've seen a
Um.
meme that's it's literally just what is it? It's the one with the skeleton or like the Grim Reaper, and he's holding like the scythe and he's walking down, and there's like a door frame and there's like blood coming from each room, and then there's one he's about to open, and it's like VHS or etc. And the Grim Reaper is like the Dead by Daylight, and then it says it's going for
Yeah.
Evil Dead is like the next target, that
Yeah.
type of thing, and people
Um.
display that. I don't know if that's the truth though.
I don't know. I do know that as of right now, I haven't seen any news of Evil Dead coming to Steam, which I think is going to be a huge problem. It's going to be a big downside to it.
Yeah,
Because Steam is just so much more of a bigger audience.
right.
I mean, I personally, I don't like Epic. I don't
Neither
like
do I.
Epic Games at all. I don't like their browser. I don't like their app. I don't like anything.
Yeah, I don't either.
But I've been a big fan of Evil Dead for a long time now. Hell,
Right.
I watched Army. I remember watching Army of Darkness, and I was I was a freshman in high school or something. And my mom told me, no, you can't watch it. And I went to a friend's house and fucking watched it anyways. Because she was like, I don't want you watching it because it was, what was it classified? It was classified as dark satire.
Yeah,
That's what it was classified as. And she's like, no, I don't want you watching it. And I was like, fucking watch it anyways.
yeah. I mean,
Best,
that's
best fucking movie I ever watched in my life back
oh,
then.
it's so cool. Yeah.
I laughed my ass off. It was fantastic. I started walking around everywhere saying, "This is my boomstick." Of course, my mom had no idea what I was talking about until later. She watched it like some years down the road, and she goes, she finally put two and two together and found out
You
that
watched
I
it.
didn't
You
listen to
watched
her.
it when I told you to
So,
specifically not to watch it. Yeah.
yeah,
Um. Oh,
but yeah,
jeez.
I had to buy the game. So
Yeah.
I'm glad I did.
Yeah. It's one of those. So there's two things I was going to talk about on that because, um, I did. So in terms of what I've seen of Evil Dead, I've only seen the 2018 series, like the
Okay.
TV show.
The
Um,
TV show on Stars. Yep.
yeah, I've only seen a few episodes though, and I really liked it. It was really really funny type of humor. Like Bruce Campbell's
Hmm.
hilarious. Um, and it just I don't know. It's that type of show where I don't know. I could see myself getting into it and then going back and rewatching all those movies.
Yeah.
Because I did like a lot of the references and stuff that it made to things that I didn't get, obviously, and I'm like, oh, that must be from the because they I think
Yeah.
in the first episode even they show like clips because he's like reminiscing and like, oh, he's like, oh, this is the evil's still
When he was
here,
in, yeah,
and
when he's in the cabin. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And I'm like, oh, that seems like sick. And then I'm seeing like what he looked like back then. I'm like, oh, dude, this was like a bomb ass movie. Like I'd love to watch that. And
It's the movies are really dumb.
yeah,
I'm gonna tell you that.
it's still
But
something I'd probably want to watch though.
they're definitely watch it though. I will recommend it to anybody. You know,
Hmm.
it's very it's dumb in the way that you're watching, you're going absolutely insane. That's too much blood. No, that doesn't that's not how this
Doesn't make
works.
sense. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I've noticed from the 2018 one too, partially, but they
Yeah.
do a little bit better of like a I don't know, like their CGI work and all that stuff is obviously more up to date and whatnot.
Well,
So
the overabundance of blood is basically just Evil Dead signature. It's Sam Raimi who directed the Evil Dead the movies.
okay,
It's basically the signature. He it
that was
just
Raimi.
went. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Um, and he always got Bruce Campbell. I mean, I think him and Bruce Campbell were like best friends.
Yeah.
It was actually Bruce Campbell's car, his actual car in the movie, because they didn't have any other car. He's like,
Oh,
yeah, I got
really?
a car. It's like,
Oh, that's
yeah.
awesome. That's so cool.
So
Um,
yeah, I know a lot. I don't know everything about Evil Dead, but I know quite a bit. And yeah, it's a fantastic franchise. So I had to buy the game, and I'm glad I did because they have like little clips from all the movies. They have the maps and everything. There's references all over the place where I see them. I'm like, oh yeah, that's awesome. They did it just like that.
I'll probably be honestly uh shouting forward to like some other podcasts. I'll be talking to July one of these days for one of these podcasts, and he's super into Evil Dead. And if you just see him around and want to talk to him about it, he is like he grew up with it, and that was just like everything pretty much is what he's described it as because like
Yeah.
it's super big to him. So if you have any questions or like how does this have, he knows all of it. He
Oh,
nerds out
okay.
about it. It's great. But the other thing I was going to tangent on was the so the Epic exclusivity I'm not a fan of. I'm also in that like I don't like how they do that whole like you can do stuff afterwards, but for the first year stays exclusive to Epic. And they hold a lot of game companies there, and they're so big now because of their Fortnite money and stuff that
Hmm.
they just kind of can do it. And it happened with Borderlands 3. It happened with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. It happened with Evil Dead now. And what's unfortunate is some of them don't even leave the platform. So you're seeing like people going to Epic for Evil Dead and it like working out for Epic, and then also Evil Dead, and them just being like, well, we're getting our sales. We don't really probably need to reach out to like Steam or whatever, which does suck because I'm a Steam gamer, so
Yeah,
it's just Steam is just so much nicer. It's just so much more
it is.
basic, and you get what you want where you want it right there. There's no ads. There's no like 15 things in a receipt when you're going for checkout every time you go for a game like there is on Epic. You click a button and quite literally it's like, okay, yeah, you want to install it? Okay, it's there.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Well,
Like,
making parties in Steam is a lot easier too.
oh
Send an
yeah,
invite, and your Steam friends list pops up, and it's like, cool. Evil Dead, you don't get that. You have to invite your friends into the game itself. So not
yeah,
only do you have an Epic friends list, now you have a game friends list, and that's like every game that I know of too. And it's like,
yeah,
oh Jesus.
yeah, absolutely. I get that. Um, yeah, that's the worst. That's the only thing I don't
Yeah.
like about it. The only reason why I will go to Epic for anything is for single players. Like if I ever have something like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, the reason why I mention it is because the only reason I bought that is because I'm a huge Tony Hawk fan. Like,
Right.
um, I was in college, and I think before college I played a few games on my laptop. It was like Binding of Isaac and Mortal Kombat, just some basic things. And then I right when I got to college, I bought Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, and I would just sit in my room and only play that. I was like, this is so freaking fun. I don't know why I like this, because like it was just a remake or like a remodel of like the very first one that they put on
Mhm.
Steam that they removed because they put the Epic one out. But the one on Steam I still have, and I can still like look at like 99 out of 100 achievements that I have, and I'm
Oh,
really mad because it's there's one that I can't beat, and it's get like an unfathomable score. And no, I know exactly what it is. It's I got that one. It's the last one is play the game out for 2 minutes past when the game ends. So what you do is right when the game ends, the timer hits zero. And if you start a combo or like hit an ollie or do like a reverse or something like that, you can like uh hit a manual or like do a grind and go like from one thing to the next. And as long as you don't stop moving, it'll continue the combo and you can keep it going.
right.
So they're
To
saying
that
do
last
that for
combo to
two
finish
minutes.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Oh my
like,
god.
dude, and because like what sucks is in that game there's individual bars for balance and stuff, and they go
Uh huh.
faster like gradually the more you do it. So if you grind,
Yeah.
it goes a little faster over time. But like that bar is separate from the manual bar, and that's separate from like the hold bar, etc. And it keeps going. But you have to remember, like, oh fuck, where when I hopped off this grind, or like the last time I hopped off this grind, it was like all the way to the left, and it's going really fast. So I have to immediately hit right when I hit
Yep.
the right, and you have to do that like those micromanagement things in your head like really quickly every time you go to do something on that last combination. I screwed up so much. One day I almost broke a controller. I almost turned into that one rage streamer that like breaks all of his controllers because like I hit it, and I think I did this for like 3 or 4 hours where I was trying to get this one achievement, and I could not do it. It's like extremely impossible. I hate it. And it says like it's like point, and there's tons of decimal spaces. 1% of people on Steam have this, and I'm like, yep,
Oh
understandable,
jeez.
understandable.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
The holy grail of achievements now.
Yeah, absolutely. Once I get that, I'm slapping that on my Steam page. That is like, I have this. I am
Yeah.
the 0.01% or whatever it is. But
Got to be a good one to have.
oh yeah. Um, what was I gonna
So
say? So in terms of things for fun and whatnot, because I know you do cardistry and you do D&D and what the such. Oh, were you gonna say something? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
no,
off.
go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, so I know you do cardistry because I've seen you do it on stream, and I know
Yep.
you do D&D because we did that one shot, and I'm really excited for the. I'll talk to you about my character now that we're talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know, I
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I know. I'm sorry.
Need your
I'm
character made.
giving you some creative block because I'm not shooting my character. Sorry about that. But what was I gonna say? So, what do you do for fun outside of those like those things, and even including those things? How many sessions and stuff for D&D do you have? Like, because I know you have a few groups, right?
Just the one. You guys
Oh,
are gonna be my second
oh, okay. And is that group like you said it was like you had
family
like a
group.
long oh, okay.
It's just a family group. It's
Okay.
actually it's two of my brothers.
That's cool.
The a third one is basically my adopted brother, and then like one friend.
Okay.
Um,
That's
so
cool.
yeah, that's yeah, just
Um
basically a family thing.
that's
So
awesome.
we meet. We try to meet once every 2 weeks. Uh,
Okay.
Everybody has Sunday off, so
Hmm.
that's the day it works. And we 10 o'clock in the morning.
Cool.
Recently we've been rescheduling more than meeting, so I just told them, look, you guys tell me when you can play and I'll be there. Otherwise, I'm not saying anything anymore. I'm done. I am done trying to get you fuckers together.
Done trying to coordinate it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally feel that. It's yeah. I wish that my siblings had the same interest of things that I do. They like discredit me oftentimes for liking video games too much. They're like, "Oh, you play it too much or whatever." And I'm like, "Okay, but like I play this same amount that you like do sports." Like or
Yeah.
whatever, and it's like granted that's healthier or whatever, but point is it's a hobby. It's something you do that you enjoy, and everyone has those things. But
Is it a hobby or a passion? That's the thing.
yeah. Yeah.
Hobbies can quickly turn into a passion, and it
Mhm.
can still be a hobby, but I
Yeah.
like doing it. This is what I like doing. So
Yeah. We went on to this conversation, I think, at one point. I actually am curious as to your thoughts on this. My brother and I were talking about some stuff, and he said, because I was talking about like the idea behind like subathons or just like long streams in general. Like, I'm going to do a 12-hour lock in for this, or I'm going to play this until I get this, which could be several hours. Um, And he was like, I can't imagine anyone playing anything for that long or doing anything like that for that long. And then I just asked him how long he's out on Sundays for golf. And he tells me the amount of hours. He said it's a long time. He's there from, like 7 in the morning to like 1 or 2,
Yep.
maybe 3 in the afternoon sometimes. And I'm like, okay. But, if you had to, do you think you could swing golf for like 12 hours? And he's like, probably. I mean, I think outside of like physical exhaustion, I think I could absolutely do that because it's just something I enjoy. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's kind of what you have to put into perspective for me because it's not necessarily, uh, I don't know, exhausting or like as exhausting it would be for you because you wouldn't enjoy it as much as I would do. Like in something like that. Like I'm playing a video game that I like. Everyone wants to know why because it's fucking DVD, but
Yeah.
it's something that I enjoy and do for 12 hours and I don't have a problem with it because it's something that I like. And he says
Hmm.
like, "Okay, I kind of get it," but he still kind of was struggling on the whole like, he's like, "But you're not getting paid for it or whatever." And I'm like, "I mean, kind of, but like not really, you know.
Right.
I don't do it for the money.
But
I do it because I like it." Like,
but you're not getting paid to play golf either, are you?
yeah, and that's why we were talking about it in the first place. Because he's like, I was like, you spend a whole day every week doing that, and I spend my time doing what I like, and it's not a waste of time if you like it and it's a hobby or a passion or whatever it is. It's
Exactly.
you're striving for something. You want to get better and you want to do better.
Yeah.
So there it is. So that's exactly how I saw it, and I was curious as to if you had any thoughts on that. I mean, because that's just kind of how I view it, and he's always just disagreed with me on that, which is weird.
Uh, no, actually, I think you put it very nicely. It's yeah. If you like doing it, that's what you do. Um, I remember spending nights at friend's house, and we played a video game, and the next thing you know, the birds are chirping and the sun's coming up. We have no idea. You
Yeah. Oh,
just don't know.
the amount of times I've done
Yeah,
that. Jeez.
do we go to bed? No, we just keep playing. Fuck it. You
Yep, pretty much. Yep, and then it's like you're looking at like, oh man, I should go to bed, but that's the worst like case of limbo you can be in is like not
Yep.
having slept because you played a game, continuing to play that game, and then when you get around to like, oh god, like 3 or 4, like maybe that point in the afternoon where you're like so exhausted, you're like, it's just a couple more hours until it's like normal for me to go to bed. Like I might as well
Yep.
like
Yep.
just wait
Yeah.
until like 8 or something. I don't know.
I think gamers are probably the only ones who will ever understand the whole thing about doing something that you like, looking at the clock and going, all right, if I can do it for just this much, I can get this much sleep, and that'll be good. All right,
Yep.
so that's what.
You compromise. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're making like this self compromise of like,
Uh,
if I get 4 hours, I should be able to operate
yeah.
tomorrow. So I think
So
I'm good if I
I'm gonna finish this thing first. All
I can
right,
finish this
and you
campaign.
finish
We've
it.
got
You're like,
this.
this is quick. I can do this real quick.
One more level, just the famous one
Yeah.
more level. My God.
One more quest. I can
Oh,
do this quest. Yeah, that's an easy one. We can do this real quick. 2 hours
easy.
later, like I can still get 5 hours of sleep. I'm alright.
Yeah, we got this. We got this. No
Yeah.
problem. Oh man, yeah, you're absolutely right. I can't think of anything else where you kind of like, well maybe when I used to do like art or where I was like doing stuff in my classes, I would stay after class and compromise like uh how much of like the art I could do before I had to actually leave because I had a skateboard. So I was like, okay, if this class ends and the other class doesn't consider me late or he takes roll 15 minutes in, and I'm like doing this all in my head, I'm like,
There you go.
then I can skate and still make it if I stay like 30 minutes behind to ask my professor this question and the critiques on this, and then I keep going, and then eventually like I squeeze in there like right at the time like he's like doing the roll call or whatever, and I like skate on in, and I'm like, okay, so sorry, give me a second, and put the board
I'm
over
here.
there.
I'm here.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Traffic.
yeah, traffic. Yeah, it just came from my house. Yeah, not another course or anything. Yeah. But so we talked a little bit about D&D, but I was gonna ask you a couple of questions on that specifically because I wanted to know how long like one of your longest sessions has gone because I know you guys have like um what is it? I know some people that have done D&D and they have like one campaign that they did that like lasted like over a few years or whatever it is. I wonder how
Mhm.
long like your longest session has been with your family, as you said in your first group there.
You're talking about the longest campaign, like how
Longest
long has the
campaign, my bad.
campaign gone?
Yeah.
Oh, so not too long. We only just started. this year.
Okay.
So it
Okay.
has not been that long.
That's cool that you
Um,
guys are all doing that though, as I
yeah,
said.
but like you said, yeah, there was an article that I saw, and then like 30 minutes later, my brother shared it on Facebook, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. It was about a guy who they've had this campaign going for 40 years, 40 freaking years, and
Oh my god.
and they actually meet in person,
Yeah.
and he's got all of the, he's got the little miniatures, he's got all the setup and everything.
Oh, that's so sick.
But 40 years, I mean, that's an odd, like, for me as a DM or dungeon master in layman terms, for
Yeah.
those who don't know, or game master, whichever one you prefer.
Uh-huh.
Um, I can only like imagine what that would be for 40,
God.
doing
Yeah.
this campaign for 40 years,
Feel like at that point you are that person. Like you are
Now,
the person you're role playing as.
well, it's not even that. Like, so there are a lot of things that you can read where campaigns that go on for years.
Mhm.
Players will make their character to start out with, and then they play, and then say like 2 years down the road, it's the same campaign. Well, your character's aging in this game. Just
Oh
because it's
yeah.
been 2 years that we've been playing, it's been like 50 in the campaign.
Oh yeah.
So they retire that character, and they make a new character and continue on,
Okay.
with, but now it's a new character,
Right.
and then that character gets old or gets married, or there's just the role playing,
Yeah.
the amount of imagination and just being present with your character. You are this character, and as this character's life is going to be this,
Yeah.
you know and that's why I think that's the whole draw for me for Dungeons and Dragons
Hey Soul, what's up?
is I like being a player for D&D. It's been a very long time since I've been a player for D&D,
Mhm.
but being able to DM it, being able to be that narrator, that
Yeah.
that voice that, at the start of the movie that goes, once upon a time in a land so far away, there was an orc who punched a human,
Yeah. Or whatever it
some
is.
shit
Yeah.
like
Set
that,
set it up.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then the orc grows old, and falls in love, gets married, and then takes a knife in the back by some stranger, and then all of a sudden the wife is, now she's the one that has to go and get the revenge, not the
Yeah.
son. That's a twist, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Exactly.
we follow that, and
Yeah.
but being able to bring that creativeness
Mhm.
to my players and everything, and
Mhm.
and watching them play their character, and well, because you can see them going, well, I would do this, but my character, what would Kuntosh do? And
Yeah.
Kuntosh is the name of my brother's character.
Okay.
He's like, what would Kuntosh do? And then he would just do something that I would never even fucking think of, you know,
Okay.
and it's absolutely beautiful or absolutely stupid. Either
Yeah.
way, it could work.
Yeah. Well, the point is like they're like the more into it in terms of like as you were saying before, like the more it's more interesting when you get more into your character,
Hmm.
because you can actually see like you can see that it's not like I think we can just to point back at the one shot we did like when I played
Okay.
my bard, and I did that one stupid thing with the spin, like that was the first time I actually really got in character, and I thought that was really cool, and obviously you had like the narrative for that for the result, the role,
Yeah.
etc. But that's more interesting and really cool. And I think that you can see a character and the player flourish more when they do that. And I think that's really, really
Yes.
cool.
Well, that was all you though. That was a role playing aspect. I played into that.
Right.
I had no idea you were going to roll like that. You said I want to twirl my gun, and I forget exactly how you explained it. I'm like, I want you to roll. I want you to give me a performance roll. I want to
Yep.
see how good this twirl is going to
Yeah, I
be.
was
And
like,
you
I'm gonna
fucking
twirl
just
my
nailed it.
rapier
I'm
on
like,
my
there you
yeah,
go.
my finger there before I sit down.
you know, it worked out. It worked out.
Absolutely, and
It
it
was
was cool.
terrific.
I love that,
Yeah.
and that's like the really cool stuff that I like to see too. And um, that's the other thing I was gonna say was like I really liked that one shot. That was really cool, and it was like a
Well,
moment
thank
of
you.
like it was a very very good introduction to D&D for me. Um,
Thank you.
so I really like that, and I'm also really psyched to see this campaign go out as well. And I do have to get I'll get my character. I'll talk to you about my character sometime.
You
Um,
have an idea for it, I'm guessing, or what's going on with that?
I do. I think I'm probably gonna play a bard again. I'm just
Okay.
deciding like the race, and like
Okay.
the starter weapons. And I'll go over with you like I have all the sites and everything up. I have been looking at it. It's just more of like I'll have to tell you, yeah, and be vocal
No,
with
that's
it
fine.
and get some ideas
That's
with you,
fine.
and that's it. But
We definitely need to get in on that though, because like
absolutely,
I'm at the part where I mean I can write plot hooks all day long, but I
yeah,
need an idea of who
right,
I'm writing them for.
yeah. And I was gonna talk on that too because what is it? We were talking about D&D just in general. How do you feel about how do I describe this? Like the stigma behind D&D and video games and things changing throughout the years. Because I've noticed that like when my brother was in high school and know that he's like 9 years ahead of me. So when I reference him, it's because of, the time difference and stuff too, because he just doesn't
Hmm.
understand a lot of the same stuff because it just didn't function the same. I don't know.
Right.
So when he was in high school, he was like the football player and like all that, and I wouldn't consider him like he wasn't super popular. He was like middle of the road there, but like he had this whole D&D's for nerds, like video games for
Yep.
nerds, and then like now nerds are like embraced, like people strap
Yes.
to that word, like you know. And how do you like? I find that really interesting. I don't know like how you feel about that, like if that's like good or bad
Uh,
or interesting or
I like it. I actually like it. It sounds like your brother went to high school about the same time I did, actually.
oh yeah,
Um, well, I'm 40 this year. I'm
right.
old.
Yeah, well, I mean,
So,
that's around the
when
same
I
time, actually. Yeah.
so when I was in high school, yeah, there were classifications. You had your nerd group. Like if you ever watch an old movie and they go into and they're in high school and they go into the cafeteria and it's like the guy is pointing out, well, that's the nerd table, that's the jock table,
Mhm.
those are the math table, the
The
math geeks over
mathletes, yeah.
there. Yeah, we had that in my school.
Oh
You
wow,
know, they weren't necessarily assigned to tables, but they grouped.
they grouped, yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't always at this table, but it could be whatever. You
Right.
just knew when you walked in if you needed to find someone, they were in this group.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I was the nerd.
Okay.
I was in the nerd group. I liked Magic the Gathering. The Pokemon card game when it came out.
Oh yeah.
Hell, just normal playing cards. We would play freaking Speed. We would play Spades, Hearts.
Mhm.
Um, we got together. We played Dungeons and Dragons. Well,
Okay.
tried to.
Yeah, okay.
The rules back then were not very clear anymore.
Oh really?
Oh, 1.0 is very very fucking hard to play.
Really? Huh.
Especially when you're like 16 years old and you're reading this entire book and you're like, I don't like studying.
I feel like the it's interesting that D&D kind of has this like, update type of thing to it too. Because like,
Mhm.
you're talking about like, oh, the latest, it's all updated here, and I'm like, who does this? Like what? Like is there like a
They
developer? Like I don't
Wizards of the Coast.
Okay.
Wizards of the Coast own the name Dungeons and Dragons, and they do official releases.
Okay.
Um, so to give you an example, I never played 3.5, which
Okay.
is one of the more popular versions of Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay.
Um, what I played, I don't even know if it was 1.0 or if it was two. I think it's 2E.
Okay.
Um, but all I know is rules, how things work. A lot of it used to be very micromanaging. You had to roll for this, you had to roll for that. If you're going to do this, you had to RP it. But if you did that, the item you're using, is it wood, is it iron, is it steel?
Oh, geez. Okay.
You had to go way in depth with it.
Okay.
And then 3.5 came out and it was like, yeah, all of this, don't worry about that.
Okay.
Worry about this instead, and
Okay.
it made it a little
Okay.
bit simpler.
Cool.
And now 5E's out, and everything is just much more simpler when it comes to classes.
Mhm.
Because 3.5, the biggest thing with 3.5 was you had your classes. Yeah, I want to be a barbarian. Okay, well, barbarians get this as you level.
Mhm.
Okay, what if I wanted this? Well, then you'd have to be a bard. Well, then can I just do a barbarian with bard levels? You could be a barbarian bard if you want to. Cool. Now, what about this? Well, now you have to be a rogue. So I have to put levels in the rogue as well. Yes, we will do that, and you can do that in 3.5. You could be a barbarian bard rogue if you really wanted to
Oh,
in
that's sick.
3.5.
That's
You
awesome.
know, and you would get these abilities as you leveled your if you put levels into your barbarian, you would get these abilities when you put levels into your bard, and these abilities when So
Okay.
you would have a barbarian who could rage, stealth, hide, and sing songs all at the same fucking time.
Oh, that's so cool. That's awesome.
you know, um, you can do that with 5e, but 5e is more set of where you have this class, and now you have archetypes, and the
Okay.
archetypes are kind of the answer to multi-classing, which
Okay.
was what I just explained. Barbarian, rogue, bard. That's all
Right.
called. That's all classified as multi-classing. So, like, a barbarian can go just straight barbarian with all of these, but then at level 3, you get to choose an archetype, and the archetype could be a fighter barbarian, a scholar barbarian, just whatever,
Yeah.
and then also it gives the DM a lot more free reign, so that someone like me, where let's just take Varfu for example. Varfu gave me an idea. She's like, she didn't even tell me, she didn't know what race, she didn't know what class she wanted to do. All she told me was, I want to be able to dual wield hand crossbows.
Hmm.
That's all she told me. And I went, okay, let me look up the stats for hand crossbows. And I pulled up the stats for those. I looked into it. I did a little bit of research, and I went, okay, we're going to make you a ranger. And she goes, okay. I said, now with the ranger, you could be this, or this race. This race will give you this race will give you that, this race will give
Okay.
you this. And she's like, well, we'll do this race. Fantastic. Now we have your class. Now we have your race. We know what weapons you want to use. So me as a DM will balance this out going, okay, I'm not going to make you keep track of your ammo, but at the same time, I don't want you to have infinite ammo.
Right.
So I made I created an entirely new hand crossbow for her.
Okay.
It's auto loaded. She has cartridges now that hold crossbow bolts, and each cartridge holds five bolts. So
Oh.
she has 5 shots before she has to take an action to reload. It's a lot more fluent. Now she has
Right.
10 total. She's not taking a shot and then having to reload, which was something you had to do in like maybe 3.5. You
Right.
take a
Okay.
shot, you take a bonus action to reload. Take a shot, take a bonus action, reload. Fuck that shit. It's 5e.
Yeah.
Throw it out the window.
Yeah. Do our own thing. That's sick. That's awesome. That's cool that and interesting
So,
that it does that. I'm actually like really interested in that stuff now because obviously,
but
yeah.
you have those DMs that are a lot more hardcore,
Mm.
and players as well. You have those players that are like, I want everything. Okay, well, what armor are you wearing? Well, I'm wearing this armor. Okay, that armor has this much weight. So what class are you playing? Well, I'm playing this. Okay, well, that class, you're pretty strong, so I'm guessing your race is going to be this. Yep. So you'd efficiently be able to carry this amount of weight. Yes. Okay. Well, that armor's too heavy for you. Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's way hardcore.
Yeah.
But it's possible. You can do it like that. Me, I don't. I don't. That's too much. That's too much for me.
Right.
I
Yeah.
just I want everyone to have fun. I don't want someone to go, I want to pick that up. Now you can't move because you're over encumbered.
Yeah.
You don't have the bag space.
Oh my god. Jeez, yeah. What was I gonna say? Because I think I had it pitched to me to try D&D at one point in my life by a friend, and I got like the starter edition box. For I think it's the last. It wasn't. It might have been 4 or something like that.
Okay.
I bought it like a few years ago, and
Mhm.
just it's been sitting here, haven't used it, and and then people have been hey, we should play D&D. You want to get involved in this next session of D&D or whatever? I'm like, okay, all right, I'll bite. Let's go. And then I had a lot of fun, and now I'm getting more involved with it because I'm getting more comfortable with that, and I think that's really cool because
Sweet.
it's yeah, as I said, like it's one of those things where I think that um the stigma reversing on that, like being a nerd, like D&D and like games and stuff like that, switching is really beneficial because it opens your eyes to a lot of things that you could play and have fun with, and not have to worry about that whole, which I mean, in the first place, I usually don't worry about that. And anyways, I don't really care what people think of me. I just, you know, um, to quote, to quote the King's Man, reputation is what people think of you. Character is what you are. So now you're trying
Good
to,
quote.
yeah, it's a good quote.
Yeah.
I started playing Binding of Isaac Four Souls, and I don't know if that's something you've ever heard of. It's really fun. It's a good
I
like
have heard of
tabletop
that.
game. Yeah,
That's one that I've never played though.
I'd love to play that with because Matt's always kicking me trying to play. If you ever wanted to play sometime, we definitely have 3 people. It's really fun. It's on tabletop too. So
Okay.
yeah.
I don't have tabletop, but I'll look into it.
Oh, I did. Okay, I thought. I swear I knew you. I thought. I wonder who I'm thinking of then that has tabletop.
No, I
Well,
don't have tabletop.
all right.
I have Tailspire.
Okay. Um, what was I gonna say? So we talked a lot about D&D. I was gonna partially go into another thing, but we can go ahead and this is getting actually kind of lengthy. I didn't expect it to go this long. Um, so the last thing I was gonna say was um you have had a lot of games of interest recently. So you said like Evil Dead and etc. And I've seen you play a lot of DBD before, not as much anymore.
Hmm.
Switched kind of towards like Hunt, which you stay around. I know that you have like your times on Hunt where it can get like infuriating to a point where it's like, yeah, I think we're done with Hunt for the night. Yeah.
Yeah.
um, but there was another like building game I think I saw you play, but I was more so just kind of pointing and asking like, other than Evil Dead because we did talk about that, what games of interest have you kind of been centering yourself around lately?
anything that anything that catches my eye, really. I would say like recently it would be Evil Dead.
Okay.
Beforehand, I mean, I like so like Evil Dead is one, of course. A Hunt Showdown is definitely another one that I will gravitate to. But
Mhm.
a lot of the I do enjoy building games like
Mhm.
Satisfactory,
That's what it
um,
was. There you go.
Valheim.
Mhm.
I really enjoyed the building of Valheim. Um, there are other things like Infraspace, which is just basically a resource management.
Okay.
Something games like that. They're calming to me.
Yeah.
It's something that I can turn my brain off and listen to a podcast, just stick around on something like that, and just
Yeah.
build this really great big city or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and then next thing you know, I'm done, and I look at it and I go, wow, this is really cool. And then I go online and I see what other people have done, and I'm like, wow, I am shit. This is I'm trash. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like what it is for a lot of games, though. I mean, because what is it like? I remember when I was in high school and kind of a little bit into college. Matt knows me for this as well too. Um, I was super into Clash Royale. And I don't know why, but like I liked clans, but I didn't like Clash of Clans as much as Royale, just because I could I can open up my phone in the middle of a line while I'm waiting for like a food line or something and
Yep.
just do a game real quick, and then if I don't finish it, whatever, I lose like a couple trophies or whatever. Whereas like Clash Royale, it's like you have your casual regular matches that just like you climb trophies with, and then you have like your war battles. And your war battles you got to be like I have no interruptions for like 10 minutes. I'm sitting down, I'm doing my war battle. This is super important because like, you
Okay.
know, I don't know. I joined. I think it may have been the clan that I joined because they were like, we need you to get like, 6 trophies or whatever it was. Like, we need you to get this threshold, and you need to do really well because we
Oh,
really screwed up, and you're the last one to go, and you have like 5 hours. And then they would like constantly like knock at your door, and you're like, hey, could you haven't done your war battle yet? Could you?
oh
And I'm
Jesus.
like, oh, sorry, I have a life. My bad. And
Yeah,
then,
yeah, yeah.
you know,
This is turning
um,
into a job.
yeah, pretty much. But I mean, and then you'd have like, they'd go, well, I highly suggest this archetype, and you're not gonna have enough time to build this, and or whatever. And they would tell you like, I would highly suggest you do like an all hog raid because I've seen that base before, and it's good, but I think you can do it with this or whatever. And they would strategize
Mhm.
with you and all that. So that type is what I liked about it, but I didn't like the urgency of having to like be in a clan and set up the wars and stuff. And so with Royale, it was very like, oh, I open it, I play like 2 minutes, and then I turn it off. That's it.
Right.
So that was very interesting to me, and so I got really into that. And the point I'm bringing this up is I was really good, but in order to get better, I would flick on like Clash with Ash or those YouTubers or whatever that have those videos that show you tutorials or texts or things you can do, and I'm like, oh,
Right.
that's really useful because that's like, that's information that I wouldn't figure out myself unless I did it on accident, and that just excels
Yeah.
me, um, just as a person and a player. So there are a lot of games like that, and I think with building games, it's like there's clear jumps on like this is something I would probably never be able to do. Like
Yeah.
and I it's so intimidating. Like and those Minecraft kids too, like that build like all those like crazy like cathedrals and whatnot, and it's all like they got like the basic like table made out of pistons or whatever it is, but they make it all fancy. And I'm like, dude, how do you even do this? Like,
Yeah. Well, the thought process of we'll go to Satisfactory.
right.
As an example, I recently there's one YouTuber that I watch who does Satisfactory YouTubes and stuff like that, and
Mm,
does really awesome builds and shit like that. But he also showcases some fan based ones.
mm.
And he actually had a viewer send him a file of his. This dude made a spaceship in the world of Satisfactory that was based off of a Starship Trooper carrier ship.
Huh.
If you've ever seen the movie Starship Troopers, these
Recently
ships are
watched it.
ginormous. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean he you go inside and there's this fusion reactor. He's got the engines outside, and all the engines are lit up because they use these new signs that Satisfactory released,
Mm.
and they turn the brightness all the way up and then stack them. So you have these the vent shapes and everything. I'm like,
Oh, that's
what the
sick.
hell,
That's like next level. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he made the reactor core or whatnot. It was a freaking ore extractor that he completely soft clipped the entire bottom out of, so you didn't see the bottom, but you just saw the top, which looks like a freaking reactor. The
Yeah.
cool shit going on in there. I'm like, what the hell? How do you think of this?
Yeah, like that's visually really cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's exactly what I'm talking about with Minecraft too, because it's like you're not so much limited by the exactly. Well, okay, you are limited by what you can do in the game, and it's building around that and being creative with those limitations that makes things like
yeah,
that really really cool, and I think that's awesome.
yeah.
Um,
But yeah, any kind of anything that has like a building aspect, you will always find me as the builder. Like 7 Days to Die.
oh yeah,
Um, every time I do a dedicated server, I have friends that come in, like primarily Stabbins
uh,
will come in, and we'll play. He's the one that usually goes off and does all the quests. I'm just doing my own damn thing. What are you doing? Building a building.
yeah, absolutely.
I'm making this. What quest tier are you on? One. Haven't done a single one yet.
Haven't
I'm
done it.
just,
Yep.
just building.
If you're ever interested, I know Krim is starting up a 7 Days to Die modded server. That's actually interesting, and I know a lot of people are hopping on. He said it's going to be some about like you can. There's like a infinite amount of people that can be involved, but it's more of like 16 can be on at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so I was like,
Pretty
okay,
much.
That's cool. So I mean, if that's something you're interested in, just definitely let me know after.
Maybe I'll have to see what kind of mods he's using and everything, and
Yeah,
his settings.
gotcha. Yeah,
See if it would be fun for me.
yeah, exactly. Um,
Uh,
Well, I'm gonna kind of
let's
gear towards the last question here because I know we're kind of running over a little bit here, but that's not a bad thing in terms of podcasts. This can go
puzzle
for a while.
puzzle games are another one. Let me just say that
Puzzle games? Oh,
I
yeah.
absolutely love puzzle games. The escape rooms.
I was watching you get infuriated with me on the me doing
The
my escape room because I'm
Oh
bad.
yeah,
I'm super bad at those.
Escape from School. I was like,
Yeah,
ugh.
I'm just gonna load this up and place myself, bro. I can't watch this kid do this.
There's
He's struggling.
there's a fantastic series called The Room that
Mhm.
is
Oh,
uh,
yep.
ba- yeah, it's just
Mhm.
like puzzle boxes and everything.
Yeah,
Oh my god, I absolutely love that series. That exercised my mind so well, and I'm just like, I wish I had those puzzle boxes physically so that I could just play with them because I'm really big into that. And
yeah,
puzzle boxes are expensive, and I can't afford
yeah,
them.
yeah. Those are yeah, definitely. Um,
Last question.
So last thing I was gonna say was, what do you plan to do in the future with streaming in terms of like, because you were telling me that if you get big, you get big. That's cool and whatnot, but that's not necessarily your goal. You just kind of want to like relax and stuff in terms of like your stream, or are you planning on like getting into like YouTube a lot more, or is there like a plan for the future?
Um, I've actually uh, uh I've actually stopped posting videos on YouTube.
Okay,
Um,
is there a reason why?
It's just that there's a lot of work that goes into editing videos, even if they are like highlights of the past week and everything.
Mhm.
And it also boils down to being a variety streamer. It's not just I can't just like post a video of Hunt because I might not be I might not be doing anything special on Hunt. I'm just playing Hunt.
Right.
You know, and I've only got content out of like 2 out of the week. 2 days out of the week I played Hunt, so why would I post a video on that? Other days I played this and that. Whatever.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. YouTube is just kind of one of those. I was thinking about making videos of Evil Dead, but then I got I got the day job. I have other things that are going on in my life.
Hmm.
Sonia's coming down in the next week. I'm getting the house straightened up for
That'd be
that,
cool. Yeah.
that kind of thing. So I get to see my dog
Heck
finally.
yeah.
You
Heck
know.
yeah.
Um. So YouTube is kind of taking a back seat. Will I go back to it? Probably. Probably.
Yeah, I feel that.
There YouTube is a platform that is definitely keeping up with the times.
Hmm.
Um, Twitch is uh, Twitch is failing a lot of people from what I can see.
Hmm.
Um, I personally am not really caring about it because like I said, I'm not I don't stream to be famous.
Right. Right.
Would I like to be famous? Maybe. I don't know. Honestly, I mean,
It's one of
honestly,
those double edged.
I go into a lot of these 1,000 viewer streams that I follow and everything, and more times than not, messages just get left unread because
Yeah.
there's so many of them. It's not the streamer's fault. You just can't see. They can't see it
Yeah.
because it just
Can't
goes by
keep
so
up.
fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to be able to talk to my friends. I want to know, like, hey, Dwight's in here. Dwight, how you doing?
Yeah.
I don't
Exactly.
want you to come into a stream and then hey, what's up? And then it gets completely buried, and I look up and see some stranger and go, oh, hi, how you doing?
Yeah.
And now you're sitting there going, wow, fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much. I mean, that's the
you
way
know,
like I use the streaming as well. Is it's like the way I see it is like um you can't physically like reach out and try to talk to everybody every day. Like if you have a bunch of people that you know online for various things or whatever it is, like I can't reach out and send a message every single day to try to see how everybody is. But if I stream and they throw a message in my stream and it's like, okay, hey, like
exactly.
we can catch up, like there it is. Like and
Yeah,
it's your way to be able to say, I'm here, just send me a message and I'll talk to you right here. Like and
yeah.
then, and I can respond like real time and everything. And if that is completely lost with the messages going up that quickly, it just it can get frustrating and hard to keep track of.
But then, of course, it can also get awkward because then you have that one person that
Mm.
and they come in and they go, "Well, I've had a really bad day. This just happened, and it's all personal and everything." And you're reading it, and you're going, "I, I,
I don't know. I don't know what to say to this. Yep.
do I comfort you? Like, if you were here, I'd give you a hug. I know that doesn't help you right now, but
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
it kind of sucks when it comes to that point. But
Yeah.
other than that, yeah, like what you said, someone, oh, hey, how you doing? I'm fine. Can't elaborate on that. Come on, give me something to work with.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, then you gotta hit him with like, okay, well now I'll poke. Like I'll ask about your job or your family or like I have to kind
yeah,
of, is anything going on over here? And then they go, oh yeah, no, this happened today, and it's like,
yeah,
okay, thank you. Yeah. Like they're.
yeah. Do I do that or do I just focus on my gameplay? I think I'm just going to focus on my gameplay for the moment.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, well, it was really fun talking with you, and I actually enjoyed like a lot of the subjects we got onto because I wasn't expecting to go like as deep into certain ones as we did, and it was really good. I really liked it because it was really cool to be able to like.
And you barely even touched the surface of who Desufire is.
I know, honestly. What was the last thing I was gonna say? So I'll go ahead and give you a plug here. I actually have a screen set up here for you. So if you guys would like, please feel free to go follow Desufire here. All of his socials listed right there. In the various spellings for each platform are right next to it. Really cool guy, as you can see here, and we'll probably be ending the podcast here. I think this is a really good first podcast. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you had fun.
Thank you very much for having me as your first person. I'm sure there were better ones out there, but maybe I was the one dumb enough to go, yeah, I'll do first.
No, I really enjoyed it. It was really fun, man.